Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's already right back at a video. Normally I post these immediately following the wrestling pay-per-views. This is the Payback, obviously recap, as the title will say eventually. But two things happened last night. After the pay-per-view, I wanted to watch the rest of UMG Cali, and after that, I went to sleep. I went straight to bed. I was just so tired. I don't know why. I'm not 100% sure why. I was feeling like really sluggish, really sleepy. I mean, it was like 1 in the morning almost whenever UMG Cali got done. I'm gonna have another video probably either later on today about that or tomorrow about that. But that's not here nor there. This is talk about wrestling or sports entertainment. Sorry. But this is the recap of it. First match of the night was Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler. I actually missed a good portion of the match because the WWE Network was not working on my 360, my other console. That's what I usually watch it on because it's in a bigger TV in my other room, in my bed, so I can just like lay down and chill and watch the pay per view. So I actually missed a good portion of the match because I had to delete the network, reinstall the network, and re-sign into it for it to work because it was not working. It was trying to do an update and it just would not download the update. So I said, maybe just uninstall, reinstall, and it worked fine. So I did miss a good portion of the Ziggler match. I did watch like the last couple minutes, and I did see the bust open. Ziggler like headbutted Sheamus, and he busted himself wide open. Like Ziggler busted himself wide open. Like he was drenched, like red, freaking red. Whole face was crimson, and it was a crimson mask. It was pretty brutal. Um, he could not get back up after that. He was like trying to get back up, and Sheamus like broad kicked him while he was like on his knees, pretty much. It was pretty brutal. The ending at least. I don't know how most of the match went, so I'm sorry I couldn't really recap most of it. But Sheamus did end up winning. Next match was New Day versus Cesaro and Kid for the tag titles. This was actually a really good tag team match. I mean, it was a 2 out of 3 falls match. Um, Cesaro and Kid won the first one by doing the spinning thing with the kick on Kofi, and the second pinfall was New Day after just a beating on Kid. After a while, like Kid was in the ring for most of that second part of the match, and just draining him by just getting beat up by both of them. Now the interesting thing was after the first pinfall, Xavier Woods wanted to switch because Freebird rule, and they wouldn't let him. I actually thought that was going to be the finish, and it was clever what they did eventually. But I thought, why can't they let him do that? It's 2 out of 3 falls. They should let him switch. That'd have been pretty fun. Like that's very heelish. Like, oh, you know what? Kofi, you're out. You're really. I'm going to be the fresh Xavier Woods, and then we win. Yay! That's how I thought the third fall was going to end up being. But they tried to do it for the second fall, and they wouldn't let him. So whatever. Um, the New Day did win the third fall because of Xavier Woods. The ref got distracted. Xavier Woods takes his coat off because he had a very similar hairstyle this night with Kofi. They both had back, slick back, like the ponytail kind of thing. And Xavier Woods took his coat off, slid into the ring, and rolled up Cesaro, so you couldn't really see his face. All you saw was the pants and the hair. So the ref pins 1, 2, 3. So I thought that was fucking clever. I thought that was really, really clever of New Day. Um, and so they won. But it was a really good match all over. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome!" Blah blah blah. Next was Bray Wyatt versus Ryback. It was pretty good. Two bigger guys putting it out. Ryback went on top of the rope, had a cool moment. He did like a big splash on the top rope. I think Ryback got legit. I don't know if he got legitimately hurt. He was just playing it really well, but he was pulling his ribcage for most of the match, and because Wyatt had him outside laying out, and he did that senton splash. He did it off the apron onto him. And he looked like he hit him in the ribs. So I don't know. The finish was pretty much Ryback tried to go for a shell shock. Bray grabbed the rope on the corner, and while no one was looking, he kind of grabbed the. I mean, it wasn't really intentional, but at the same time, it kind of was, I guess, because it was Bray Wyatt. He's smart. He's a genius. He grabs the turnbuckle, trying to grab the rope, but he kind of grab on whatever he could. So he grabbed onto the thing, but he was holding on to the turnbuckle. Ryback moved this way, jolted him, so he grabbed it with him. and then the ref turns around to kick it out the way, and Wyatt pushes right back into that corner. Then he grabs Sister Abigail, wins. So Bray Wyatt did win cleanly in a sense. Cena versus Rusev, I quit match. That was a really good match, really brutal match. They pretty much went back and forth, beating the hell out of each other. Cena, big spot was Cena attitude adjusted Rusev onto the behind like the front of the stage where the fireworks are, like the fireworks went off, and like Rusev got like shocked in a sense. He didn't quit, didn't give up. How he gave up, Cena did win. Rusev didn't quit. Rusev was yelling in Bulgarian and stuff, and Lana grabbed the mic and said, he quits, stop, he quits. So Lana again costs Rusev the title opportunity. So Cena retains. Next up was Naomi and Tamina versus the Bellas. It was a Divas tag match. It is what it is. Naomi and Tamina did win. It was okay. I mean, it was just a Divas match or whatever. They didn't. I feel like they didn't have enough time, a lot of time, or build up. Like the build up was okay for what it's worth, but like the match wasn't given a lot of time, so they didn't give Divas a chance. Next up was Neville versus Barrett. Kind of just Neville getting his payback from against King Barrett, but Neville did win via countout. It's like because like Barrett was like, you know what, screw you, I don't feel like fighting you, kind of like thing. Like, but I mean, they had a good match for the most part, but the finish was just like, what, really? Now all of a sudden he's like, you know what, screw you. So Neville won. Barrett came back in to attack him, but then he kind of like countered it, and Neville like did like that standing German. He broke the scepter. I don't think no one noticed that he like broke the king scepter. And then he did hit that red arrow, and that was it. Last but not least, it was the fatal four-way match between Ambrose, Rollins, Reigns, Shield, and Randy Orton. It was a really good match. A lot of good spots and stuff. The best spot of the night, 100%, like throughout the whole thing, the best moment of the show. The Shield came back together for 1 second. Okay, it was like 20 seconds, but still, one moment. The Shield came back. They they took the table apart, and they all looked at each other, and they looked at Orton. Orton's on there because Orton was kind of like fighting all of them in one sense. He was like punching at everyone, and they all looked at each other, and they ripped the table apart. They're like, yeah, let's get him up, let's go. They triple powerbomb Randy Orton, threw a table together, and they're posing stuff like they used to do like that. Like Ambrose is like freaking out, and Rollins gets between them like this. He like puts his hand up like yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He does this, and Ambrose and Reigns just looks at him like, and Ambrose like and they just looked at him. It was great. And then they started beating the hell out of him. They actually double power bombed him through the other announce table, so that was pretty cool. It was pretty awesome moment. I marked out a little bit. I laughed hysterically at that. It was great. It was a great moment to see them back together for like 1 second. I was a huge fan of the Shield. Still am. That was like the greatest group in a very long time. But that's pretty much the end of that match. Seth Rollins did retain via a pedigree, which was like what he just did, like. I feel so bad for Rollins. He needs to have his own finisher because they banned the curb stomp, which I thought was the stupidest thing ever to ban the curb stomp because that was like the coolest finisher. I hope they. I don't know. Like he keeps stealing everyone else's finishers because he doesn't have one. He stole the RKO at Extreme Rules. Now he's stealing the pedigree. And it kind of sucks, but whatever. So Seth Rollins did retain, so congrats to him for retaining it. But that's pretty much it. I'm wrap this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. And as always, if you're new around these parts, be so kind to that subscribe button down below. And remember, if there's always a problem, you just hashtag raise them. Peace.